Yeah.
Good evening. It's 6:31. I'll call to order this meeting of the Columbus Common Council regular meeting for Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. And when you're ready, could you please take the roll?
Reed,
Here.
Rule,
Here.
Troxler.
Here.
Hendrickson,
Here.
Kenny,
Here.
Malat.
Here.
Tome,
Here.
all present.
Thank you. If able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This meeting has been posted as an open meeting in accordance with all state statutes and local ordinances. Next item is to approve the agenda. Unless there's any alterations or deletions, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the agenda is approved. Under correspondence and communications, we have one person signed up tonight. Actually, one party. Adrian and Lynn Shepard were here to offer some comments. Their address is 5 Woodbridge Lane. They wanted to talk about the Tower Drive traffic issue. Adrian, if you wanted to come up to the microphone.
Promise I'll try not to bump the laptop here and throw things off. First, good evening. And first, thank you to Andy and Matt for making sure that Tower Drive was added to this evening's agenda. We do appreciate that. And also thank you to everybody up here for your service to our community. We realize that this is just one part of a larger conversation, of which it sounds like Andy's been laying some groundwork for already, so thank you for that. That said, as the agenda states, our talking points pertain to the Tower Drive and Highview Lane intersection. Prior to Highview opening and connecting with Tower Drive, it was not uncommon to observe vehicles driving through at perceived high speeds. Obviously, we're not out there with a radar, but you can tell the difference between a car that's going the speed limit under and then going a little too fast, right? This pattern has continued since Highview is opened and connects now with Tower. Since Highview is opened through to Tower Drive, there's also been an increased amount of foot and biking traffic. So runners, kids, dog walkers, and so on, right? And this just isn't limited to people who live on the west side of Tower. This also includes people from other areas of the city. So, we see people now who live on one side who are now maybe walking in that area too, because there's a nice connection, a nice little mile loop that goes around now that that's open. Pretty cool stuff. However, when you combine the traffic, perceived high speeds, and an observable increase in foot and bike traffic, we now have a potential problem, right? And it's not just for pedestrians and bikers, but also for people driving their vehicles, right? And this is one we hope the city will address. Since fall, there have been 2 cutouts for curb ramps on the east side of Tower. While these are yet to be completed, it's encouraging to see. Given the unique variables of this setting, we are also hoping that the city will consider any or a combination of some of the following things that we've come up with. Obviously, we aren't DPW, but these are just some of our ideas. So adding painting crosswalks that connect with the curb ramps from Highview across to Tower, posting a street ahead sign as you approach the intersection heading south on Tower. And I will note that there is already one coming from the other direction. However, it's kind of curious why there isn't one coming from both. Maybe there's a logical explanation to that. Also, perhaps a temporary digital speed sign. I don't know what it's actually called, we don't, but you know what we're talking about. You see that in school zones and other areas where maybe there's some problematic things going on. The reason that one's brought up is because I think a lot of people still don't realize that Highview is now open, and there's a lot of rubbernecking going on when they see a vehicle approach or a kid approach or somebody walking or biking. So that can become a problem too. People all of a sudden hit the brakes or slow down. Perhaps crosswalk signs, or consider adding a new sidewalk on the west side of Tower running north to south. Maybe that might be another option. We did take some pictures last weekend from a variety of angles of that intersection, different distances. Those were provided to Andy and Matt. Thank you. So you can get a better idea of some of what's going on if you're not familiar with that area. No matter how you look at this, the intersection it poses some problems. Right? Even for vehicles attempting to turn onto Tower due to a lack of vision based on the hill and the corner from the other side, or the speed of oncoming vehicles. Sometimes you have to literally hit the gas when you leave that intersection when you're heading north. Somebody's coming over that hill. Either they're going the speed limit or they're going faster than that, and that's when you really have to be hitting the gas to get out of that intersection. One might suggest removing some of the trees or other greenery near this intersection. That's not something we're here to suggest. We like seeing that kind of stuff. Right? However, if this was one part of an eventual outcome, this wouldn't address the situation in its entirety. So it's easy to look at that, especially when you take those pictures or you go walk and take a look at it or drive your vehicle to see, well, what could be done here? It's easy to say, well, let's remove that shrub or remove these trees. That still won't do it. So we want to make that clear too. Oftentimes, some of these projects don't occur until somebody's seriously injured, which in turn prompts action. I think of where I grew up, Cornell, Wisconsin, 178, which is all along the Chippewa River. There were no rails there until a couple vehicles went in and people died, right? Obviously, hopefully we can be proactive here. Case in point, my family was out taking a walk a few weeks ago, and we've noticed some of the issues at this intersection, but we were crossing over to the west side of Tower and checked both sides. Nobody's coming, but we know we have to think fast and get across as quickly as possible given the circumstances and the variables. Well, there's nobody coming north to south, or so we thought. We're about halfway across and a van comes barreling down. My first instinct is, well, let's make sure my wife and my kid and my dog are getting across. Well, I must have blocked it out because evidently that van got pretty darn close, squealed its tires, hit its brakes, and these guys were worried that I was going to get hit. So that's just an example of what we experienced there. And I'm sure there have been some other close calls as well. Our hope, I'll wrap this up, I know time is of essence, right? Our hope is that the city and the surrounding neighborhoods can proactively work together to improve a rather dangerous intersection in order to help mitigate the risk of injuries, damages, or even the loss of life. Promoting safe driving, but then also promoting ways to be safe as a pedestrian or a biker and so on. So we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. All right, on next then to the consent agenda. Tonight we have council minutes from April 18th, 2017, EMS minutes from September 7th, 2016, HLPC minutes from April 12th, 2017, library board minutes from March 21st, Recreation Committee minutes from February 13th and March 13th. Was there any wish to separate any of the items on the consent agenda? If none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have no unfinished business this evening, so on to new business. Number 1, consider and take action on the purchase of microphones for council chambers. This is an item that came through the last committee of the whole meeting. We had Pete Kalin here from the Cable Commission showing us some options that they brought forward. This would be an expense that would be coming from the cable fund. This isn't from levied tax dollars. I believe the system that we had some consensus on was the Shure brand system in here. I think the amount is $7,390 or $7,939.66 is the quote that was in here. Is there any further discussion or questions on this? Seeing none, I'll entertain any motions.
I'll make a motion to purchase the microphones for council chambers.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of microphones for the council chambers. Any other motions or any questions? We should probably take a roll on that, Ann.
Rule,
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. On to number 2, consider and take action on a Columbus Country Club lease assignment. This was reviewed at the last committee of the whole as well. It seemed pretty straightforward. Are there any questions on this? Any comments from staff at all? Okay. Oh, Matt, did you have a question?
Just to clarify, looking at the initial sheet in here, the date's April 18th, so I'm assuming nothing has changed. There's been no updates at all whatsoever. Okay.
Referring to the memo?
Yeah, to the initial memo, I'm assuming from Patrick with kind of the breakdown for the agenda, just making sure that it wasn't the wrong one put in, or if there had been any changes, that's whether or not there has, so, thank you.
Any further questions? I'll entertain any motions then.
Motion to approve the country club lease assignment.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the Columbus Country Club lease assignment. Any discussion on the motion? Can we take a roll on that, Ann?
Drexler.
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item number 3 is consider and take action on Resolution 11-17, a resolution asking our state legislature to support legislation giving more local control over cell tower siting. This is an item that we've discussed for several meetings. Obviously, having gone through the process of working on a lease agreement with U.S. Cellular, I think we've learned a little bit about state statutes, or the change in state statutes in recent years that I think take away a bit of local control from municipalities as far as siting the tower. I think Patrick did a great job of drafting the memo to go along with the resolution, so thank you for your work on that. Are there any comments or questions on this? Go ahead, Mr.
Just kind of reading through this, I know the initial discussion that we had in regards to concerns with the tower, one of them was the possible impact on the historic downtown pictures or anything like that. I think I remember some conversation happening about that. Would that be something to possibly include in this, that because of its close proximity or with the height of it, that there could be some impact to that nature, just to kind of reinforce that there are impacts outside of just the footprint or that park area?
Alderman Kenny, are you talking about the letter and the message to the legislators? That was
Yeah, yeah.
I think something could be included if there's a consensus for that. I think it's an important point.
Yeah, yeah. I said, I know obviously our major concern was the lack of control and the footprint and kind of the loss of that whole thing too, and the impact at the park itself, and the surrounding, residents. But on a greater impact for a, 100-foot tower, I think there was some conversation about how that might view if people are trying to take pictures or that nature. I don't know. I remember hearing somebody talk about that or brought up at some point. I wasn't sure if that was ever kind of considered as well, or if that'd be something to include in with the letter.
Go ahead, Drew.
Might you want to change or add it to the first sentence and have it say, whereas the city of Columbus holds dear its small town historic charm, just adding in the word historic?
Yeah, it's just something like that.
Wording, yeah.
Any other questions on that? Does that suffice, Matt?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if we're going to send a letter, I think we might as well just really try to pack
Okay.
it full of all the points.
In the memo, I think there is some reference to, despite some concerns raised by park neighbors about the negative visual effects of the structure near their properties, maybe we could just add a few words to that, in a historic community, that it affects the skyline.
I certainly can massage that a little
Okay.
bit to include that concept, I
Okay.
think.
Feel
No
free to
problem.
work your magic, Patrick.
If you want to give me that ability, I'll work on that for
I
sure.
think you've done a good job of conveying our story through the
Yeah.
resolution and the memo, so.
Okay, thank you.
Are we good with that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll entertain any motions then.
Motion to approve the letter as written with the minor alteration that we discussed.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the resolution 11-17, a resolution asking our state legislature to support legislating giving more local control over cell siting towers. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, should we take a roll on that, Ann?
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Drexler.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you for your support, and Patrick, thank you for the work that you put into this. On to number 4. Consider and take action on recommendation from the Plan Commission concerning a certified survey map of tax parcel 1088.5 at 200 Continental Drive. I was not at the Plan Commission meeting, but I did watch it, and I think it lasted almost 4 minutes, so I don't think this was a very controversial topic. I don't know if staff had any comments on this, but it seems about as straightforward as it can get. Simple land division.
It was about as short a review letter I received from Jason I've ever seen. So.
Yeah. Any questions, comments from council? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain any motions.
Motion to approve the certified survey map for American Packaging Corp.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the recommendation from the Plan Commission concerning a certified survey map of tax parcel 1088.5 at 200 Continental Drive. We take a roll call on that, please, Ann?
Kenny,
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. On to number 5, approval of mayoral appointments of council positions to city boards, committees, and commissions. This would be this year's assignments, I guess, for council members serving on different boards, committees, and commissions. I tried to reach out to council members to see if I could get any opinions on this. Some positions stayed the same, some have moved around a little bit, but I just wanted to get something out there to make sure that we're not running short on any voting members especially. And then also we have the liaison positions. If there is a will of anybody that wants to do some trading in the future on this, schedule-wise, I'm fine with that. We can bring that up at a later date, but I just wanted to get the blanket appointment done, so. Any questions or comments on that? All right. Seeing none, I'll entertain any motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the mayoral appointments to the city boards, committees, and commissions.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Can we do a voice vote on that, Ann? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you. Then on to number 6, which is approval of mayoral appointments to city boards, committees, and commissions. That would be for the citizen positions. Some of these are reappointments, people that are continuing their service on the various boards that we have. Some are new. There are still some vacancies besides this. I didn't want to keep adding to the list after the packet was done, so there will probably be another list coming forward at the next meeting as well. So, any questions on this? Seeing none, then I'll entertain any motions.
Motion to approve the mayoral appointment to city boards, committees, and commissions.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the mayoral appointments to city boards, committees, and commissions. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. On to number 7 then, which is consider and take action on applications for operator's license. I do not have a list in my packet, so there are none. Okay. Then on to number 8, consider and take action on claims in the amount of $482,774.60. Any questions on the claims? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve claims in the amount of $482,774.60.
Motion to approve the city claims for that amount. For that amount.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the claims for the amount read. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Ann, would you please take the roll?
Malat.
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. On to report of city officers. I'll turn the floor over to Administrator Vandersanden.
Just a couple things to report, and I hope I don't steal any or thunder, Mayor. Just that a couple of city events took place last week. The Columbus Business Appreciation Lunch went off well Thursday. Pretty nice crowd at the pavilion. A very interesting speaker in the general manager of the Madison Mallards and other enterprises around the state of Wisconsin. So that was very interesting, and it's an event that's evolved over the last couple of years. We hope to keep growing and, keep that strong connection between the city and the business community. And then Saturday was the Arbor Day celebration, annual Arbor Day celebration. Thankfully, the weather was favorable at the time. The rain held out, and I saw a good crowd there. Staff's done a great job of blending a bunch of different attractions to bring all members of the family to something like that. And it also shows the commitment that the city has with its urban forests. So that went very well. One more reminder, announcement, I guess, since this will be the last time there'll be a meeting before it happens, is the spring cleanup is set now for the week of May 15th. We've got information on the city website, and we'll be picking up our public education on the event. We've worked with the Columbus Journal to get information out that way as well. Just the key thing is, on the day of your regular garbage pickup, that's the day that you should have items out for the cleanup. So this will be the first time we've done it for a while, if any. It hasn't happened in my time here, so may require a little bit of growing pains, but it'll be something I think will be positive for our citizens and something we can to grow upon, as a service to the city of Columbus. Thank you, Mayor.
I think Patrick kind of touched on just about everything I had in my report, but I did want to thank Patrick for stepping in and reading the proclamation at the annual Columbus Arbor Day event. I had a prior commitment, so I was out of town for that. I'm glad to hear, even with less than perfect weather, that the attendance seemed to be pretty good yet this year, and to thank all the volunteers, the organizations, and the people that put that event together. I know there's a lot of work that goes into it, so thanks to those people. I did also attend the annual Business Awards luncheon on April 27th with City Administrator Vandersan, and Alderman Rule was present as well. It was held at the Fireman's Pavilion. Well attended, I thought, this year. Congratulations goes to the nominees and to this year's winners, and to also wanted to thank city staff, Kalen leaders, Dave Carlson, and Patrick for the work that they put into bringing that event together, and thanks to everyone that attended. Also coming up soon is the annual Red Bud Day Festival. That's March 12th and 13th, sponsored by the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce. Saturday at 10 a.m. there's the Red Bud Prince and Princess. Will be crowned during an event at the Columbus Area Senior Center. Food and fun to follow on the boulevard, featuring a chalk walk contest and also a brat fry. Remember to complete your entry form to win one of 10 Red Bud trees that will be given away this year. That event also coincides with the Columbus Citywide garage sales. If your garage sale is not as successful as you'd hope, you are unable to donate those items, our first spring cleanup event will be occurring that following week of May 15th with your regular residential garbage pickup. There is a list on the city website that outlines the limitations of what you can place out there. So I would advise trying to look at that or call City Hall before you drag everything to the curb to make sure that it can get picked up. And then lastly, citizen openings on boards, committees, and commissions. We did approve some of those tonight. Thank you for that, and thank you for people that do serve on the various boards, committees, and commissions, and the people that have chose to continue. Also the new people that have stepped up into that role as well. There are still current vacancies on the Cable Commission, Tourism Commission, Senior Center Advisory Board, Library Board, and several other committees with likely upcoming vacancies. So I would encourage anyone that's interested to either contact me or go to the city website. There is a form available that you can download on the city clerk's page under the list of applications and forms. So you can print that off, fill it out, drop it off at City Hall, or just come into City Hall if you have interest or any questions about serving. So that's all I had. Anyone else have anything? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned for about 5 minutes, and we'll return for the committee of the whole meeting. Thank you.